Hello and welcome to Muppetsational, the UK's biggest Muppet Show podcast, hosted by three huge Muppet fans. Join us each week as we dive into an episode of Jim Henson's classic variety show, now finally available on Disney+. This week, it's Season 2, Episode 3, starring Mr. Television himself, Milton Berle. It's time to get things started on the chronological, explorational, conversational Muppetsational! Woo! Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Muppetsational. I'm Lewis Chandler.
I'm Jade Turner.
And I'm Emma Chandler.
And here it is, people. We're 3 episodes into Season 2, and it's Lewis's first hungover recording.
I'm sure somebody has won money on that.
I'm sure, yeah, we should actually, maybe we should put on Twitter before we put these episodes, have a bet on what episode the first episode that Lewis has where he's hungover. Yes, last night I was at a club night for the other love of my life, Madonna, and I fell asleep on the sofa. When I got home, not a sofa at the club.
I mean, you might have fallen asleep on the sofa in the club. We will never know.
Well, if I could remember the end of the evening, I'd be able to tell you. The last song I remember hearing is Dear Jessie, and then after that point, it all becomes very blurry.
Oh dear.
How is everybody?
Good. It's been a bit of a long week, but I'm okay.
Emma has her hair in a sort of sassy 90s updo, looking somewhere between a member of the Babysitters Club or Pebbles from
Yeah,
the Flintstones.
I think I'm rocking a very Pebbles vibe today.
Do you think you're Bam Bam, Lewis?
My head feels like it's Bam Bam. No, I'm that weird pig Muppet they have underneath the sink in the Flintstones movie who's like, that's how I feel right now.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, sorry, the Flintstones movie was on ITV2, of course, last weekend, so it's kind of fresh in the memory.
Yeah, I was like, how have you remembered that Muppet? Like, that would not be...
What a strange family film about embezzlement.
It is. Like, it's funny, some of the, 90s family films, you look back at them now and you think, questionable.
Jumanji scarring.
I hate Jumanji.
Jumanji is a classic. I know you two don't like it, but I love Jumanji.
It makes me so sad.
Yeah, me too. He's trapped in there for so long and then his parents are dead.
Yes, but then they reverse
and then that lady has to have so much therapy. Yeah, but I never got to that bit.
Well, spoiler alert, but you should go back and get to that bit.
And then Emma and I have a very emotional connection to A Little Princess, which is a haunting film.
It's a masterpiece. A masterpiece.
It is. It's gorgeous. Many a time sitting on our patio, me drawing a chalk circle around myself, trying to feel like a poor little rich girl. Trapped up in my attic from Miss Minchin.
I screened A Little Princess in London and invited Emma to come and literally had this pages long text message from her about how traumatic she finds the film and how she could not bear to come and watch it. So I was like, okay, that's fine, you don't have to come.
Oh my god, I just remember that now. And I remember being like, oh dear.
I'd love to see that movie on a big screen.
It was a really, really lovely screening, but we did have one little girl who she wasn't very old at all, probably 4 or 5, and she just started bawling at one point and didn't stop for about 15-20 minutes. And at the end, I went over to her mum and sort of said, is she all right? And she was like, yeah, she's fine. She's just really empathetic. She feels things really, really deeply. She said she does it all the time at everything.
It's like me being there.
Yeah, I didn't have the heart to be like, that's like my best friend. She's coming to meet me later.
Because she couldn't sit through this.
I think that's what that little girl's going to be like.
Unlike your 4-year-old.
Yeah, she's now going to be like, never again.
Oh. That girl who plays the lead is now super rich and married to a very old guy.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I looked it up on Google.
Well, she obviously didn't want to become like the little princess either.
Well, she became a different. She became Daddy's little princess.
Yeah. Right, should we talk about the
Yes,
Muppets?
sorry, we should. Yeah, this is not a Little Princess podcast.
No, because you two couldn't handle that.
I love the movie. I could quite happily watch it all
Fine.
the time. Why don't I own it on DVD?
Emma couldn't
I
handle
couldn't
that.
handle it.
Ugh. Anyway, Jade, why don't you kick us off with a little production information?
I'll do some production information. So this episode was originally broadcast on the 14th of October 1977. It was written by Jerry Jewell, Joseph A. Bailey, Jim Henson and Don Hinckley. And this, for the first time ever, directed by Philip Casson, I think is how you say it. It's the first time we've had a different director who's not Peter Harris.
Ooh.
So, yeah. So Peter Harris and Philip Casson, I'm going to continue to say the name like that. They are the two directors.
Casson?
It's either Casson or Casson, I guess.
How's it spelled?
Casson.
Cassoon?
No, because it's not double O. Oh. So, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, but this is his first episode. So that's very exciting.
That's very exciting.
Yeah. And Emma, now we've had our big rambling journey through 90s family movies. Let's take it back to the golden age of television. What have you found out about Milton Berle?
Uncle Milty.
Uncle Milty.
Uncle Milty.
Yeah. So Milton Berle was a comedian and actor who had a career that spanned over 80 years. He was in vaudeville. He was on stage, radio, silent movies. Then he moved into sound movies and
sound movies.
Moving pictures. And then TV. And basically he just became synonymous with the launch of the televisual age in America. And he was essentially the sort of first inductee into the Television Academy Hall of Fame. And he had his kind of variety show, which was called the Texaco Star Theatre Show.
Whoop, whoop.
Which he
Texaco.
Yeah, and apparently they said that between the time that it was on air, they noticed that, like, I think it was shown on like a Tuesday evening, and they were saying like during that time period in America, like everyone would be in watching his show. If you had like a restaurant, you'd have like a quiet hour or something like that. It was like the zenith, and he was credited with the increase of TV sets being purchased and things like that. And interestingly enough, because it was like sponsored by Texaco, he had a 30-year contract with them. So even when the show ended,
God, they owned him for life.
He was with Texaco for life. But it just meant that
I hope he got like free gasoline or something.
Yeah, so I thought that was quite interesting as well. And he was in that film It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World, directed by Stanley Kramer, which has got obviously Ethel Merman, Sid Caesar, Mickey Rooney, Spencer Tracy.
And if nobody's seen It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World, but you have seen the episode where there's a cat burglar in The Simpsons, the last 5 minutes of that episode is basically a play on It's a Mad, 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 Mad World.
Oh.
Fun fact.
So yeah, and also in the early 90s, he released a senior Get Fit video. I mean, everyone.
He did.
It's, what you need to do.
It plays at the Florence Henderson retirement communities.
Yeah, essentially. And then he passed away in 2002.
I mean, Jade, when you told us to go and read Milton Berle's Wikipedia, good Lord, I didn't know I was sitting down to... I was about to say... I was about to say to read Moby Dick, talking about like the length of the Wikipedia entry, but it could also be about apparently Milton Berle's prestigiously enormous penis.
Which was extremely well known.
Yeah.
I mean, what? What?
It's got to be something when it gets its own it gets its own subheading on your Wikipedia. Good Lord. He also sounds, from what I've sort of looked up, he also sounds like a jerk. But it seems it's a shame because he comes across really well on the show.
The bits that I'm really kind of struggling with is he was obviously this big, larger-than-life character, clearly very funny, like, for his time. I'm not necessarily saying it tracks completely now, but clearly, very of his time. And also, obviously, moved in all these amazing Hollywood circles. And I was also reading that in later life, he raised tons and tons of money for charity because he essentially would host galas and different events and things all around Hollywood, raising loads of money, which is amazing. But yeah, then seeing stuff about how, how he treated people on his shows, and also as he got older, he clearly became quite insecure about his waning star and would basically sort of cut people off or try and cut in award shows and grab the limelight for himself and things. Like, I mean, I don't know. Clearly, he obviously probably needed to go and speak to someone about that. But just like, I don't know, it's really quite difficult to sort of, I guess from this perspective, to like untangle all of these different facets of his character, not being particularly aware of all of the different things he did. I mean, I don't know if you two made it down far enough on his Wikipedia page, but there's a section about when he hosted SNL, which I thought was absolutely fascinating and bizarre, that he tried to turn it into some like 40s, 50s style vaudeville show, and Lorne Michaels basically banned it from ever being on screen ever again because he thought it sullied SNL.
That was crazy.
I don't like, what?
Yeah, absolutely crazy.
Yeah. And then the whole thing with the rumours about his...
enormous wang.
Yeah, it's all very, very peculiar, isn't it?
Quite the tangled web for some sort of therapist to unweave.
The other thing he founded, which I thought was really interesting, and I found a few YouTube videos as well, was he founded the members club in Hollywood that held the roasts, which is obviously
the
sort
Friars
of continued.
Club.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, that was his club. So
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, clearly a very, very influential, groundbreaking, still, I'm sure to a large extent, seeing his legacy come through in various ways today, but not without issues either.
Well, let's jump into the episode. Obviously, we're getting our classic Scooter opening. I loved this because I tell you what, I love a big powder puff.
It was amazing.
It's nothing funnier than just going. It's always funny.
Do you know what that Muppet was called?
Is it Timmy Monster?
Yeah, Timmy Monster.
What is that?
I didn't even really. Well, to be fair, I had just like craned one eye open while I watched this. When I came to, but all I could see was the powder puff. I've always wanted to be like by a powder puff.
It was such a huge powder puff as well, wasn't it? That must have been quite heavy.
Who could that be for?
Yeah. Timmy Monster, obviously.
Of course. Although he didn't look like he was wearing much powder.
I'm sinking again.
Oh no! Jade has a non-functioning office chair, and Jade is just slowly sinking into out of shot. Oh, bye, Jade. Oh, it looks like it's 6 more weeks of winter. The groundhog's staying in its hole.
Hold on. Let me just...
I wish we had...
When I heard that clink, I thought it was another wine bottle.
Oh my Jesus!
Hair of the dog for Lewis.
I was thinking about making a margarita just to try and like...
Oh, a margarita?
Yes, because it's tequila and it's lime juice. It's like peppy.
All right, Judy.
Life feels like... Oh, that's Liza. Jeez. Oh. Did you see they're bringing out a...
I think we're going to have plenty of material for if we need any bloopers.
This is totally unrelated to Milton Berle. But, you know, we talked about Little Princess, so it's fine. Do you see they're bringing out a Judy Garland perfume?
What?
Like,
No.
For her 100th birthday, they are bringing out a perfume, because I saw an interview with Liza and Lorna on Entertainment Tonight, yeah, where they're talking about it, and literally, like, Liza goes, it smells like mama. Like, it smells like pills.
I was going to say, I was like,
Although it immediately makes me want to purchase. I'm like, I want to smell like Judy Garland.
How did they know what she smelled like, though?
Well, I suppose, I mean, they know what I think it's based on a perfume that she used to wear back in the day.
Right, fine.
Yeah.
I just didn't know whether, like, Liza had gone to some perfumer and gone,
no, I think somebody approached them, but it was just very odd to see Lorna and Liza just propped up on, like, folding chairs and chatting to Entertainment Tonight about Judy Garland perfume. Oh, smells like mama. It's like, okay. Oh. Is this the first time we get a hi-ho from Kermit.
No, I think he did say it a couple of times in the first season, but I clocked it too. It was nice that he got a little hi-ho in there.
Yeah,
it was good.
It's the first time I clocked it.
Yeah. Well, as we know, you're not often awake for the...
Look, my dedication to this podcast cannot be doubted.
Emma's giving you a look that suggests otherwise.
I'm here, aren't I? I didn't cancel.
You're
I filled
here.
in the doodle poll before anybody else to work out the times we could do this. Emma's the one who can't do weekdays because she's tired on account of her diabetes.
Shall we get cracking and talk about the ugly song?
Yes, let's.
Which was our opening number for this episode.
I'm ugly as sin, but beautiful's out, ugly's in. If you're ugly like me, you're in good company. There are millions of us who are ugly.
Emma, how did you cope with this song, considering there was Muppets with big hanging mouths?
I know. The visuals were very scary.
That was the first thing I thought was like, oh my god, we're back to the drawbridge mouth.
Drawbridge mouth.
What are they doing?
That's a much better way to put it than just big hanging mouth.
Yeah.
I think it was Emma that came up with that, which I like.
Yeah. I know. I like when we had that opening shot of like me, Mama, and the drawbridge mouth. I was like, "Oh no."
Emma, if you got given the choice between having to hang out with a Muppet with a drawbridge mouth for 90 minutes or watching A Little Princess, which one would you choose?
I think I'd still choose the Muppet.
God, that movie really did a number on you.
Yeah,
really did.
It's so emotional.
It's the only way I know my 7 times table. I didn't learn any French though.
A great endorsement for our primary school that's how you learn the 7 times table. I found this whole thing, just a bit odd and just a bit lacking in that Muppet finesse. I found the staging really weird. All of the Frackles and the monsters seemed to be getting in each other's way. And then some of them were really, really close to the camera, which obviously made sense when you then saw that they essentially swallowed. Well, it was made to look like they swallowed the camera. But I'm sure they could have still started from further back and then come in or, move the camera around, move them at the same time or whatever. It's just a bit uninspiring, really. And I wasn't really into it, I guess.
The gimmick of it just being, oh, they eat the camera and then we pan back out and we're out of the mouth again. Yeah, it was a bit sort of repetitive. But I did, I suppose there's a bit of body positivity in there.
Yeah, no, the sort of general message of
ugly is in.
I'm ugly, but I'm beautiful is, and I quite like that the lyrics were all about the ugly people outnumbering the beautiful people. Okay.
Did you notice though? I couldn't stop thinking the warthog that popped up looked a lot like one of the sort of tribes people from Muppets Treasure Island.
Yeah,
I thought that definitely.
That's all I could think.
I wonder if they were consciously recreating that kind of puppet when they came up with those puppets for Muppet Treasure Island.
Oh yeah, maybe, or maybe they just sort of had it somewhere back in the in the warehouse.
That's what I was going to say. He was just like in the warehouse and they were like, aha!
Push aside a dusty Wayne and Wonder and find a warthog pig and they're like, ha!
The one thing I did quite like about it was Mean Mama's eyes and ears moving around and wiggling around and everything. I thought that was quite cute because she is obviously a very large, pretty scary looking Muppet, but that added a bit of softness to her. I thought.
What a big hearing aid.
I guess, is that what they were like in the 70s?
I mean, I couldn't tell you, Jade. But
that was my thinking, was just like, maybe that's what people had to take to the theatre. I don't know.
Yeah. It was huge.
Yeah, it was enormous. And to have to carry around like the box and the wire and everything.
You might as well have just held like an old-timey like gramophone tube.
Horn.
Yeah.
I thought, again, it was a bit of an odd runner for Statler and Waldorf that it was all essentially, other than their main sketch with Milton, which we'll obviously come on to, everything else with them was around the hearing aids. I feel like so far this season, they've basically not been able to watch any of the shows properly. You know, whether it's that they've just been watching TV, not paying attention, or not been able to hear the Muppets. They're just... Why are they there?
No, exactly. It's like they've invested in their bogs and...
That's it. They just want it for the
that's it. We've got to go.
comfy seat.
Yeah. I wonder if the Muppet Theatre has other shows on than just the Muppet Show, or do you think they're just like, we are the only thing that... do they get a touring production of Hairspray in, you know, for like 5 days, and then it's back to the Muppet Show? Like it's Cats doing a regional tour. Do you know what I mean? Like...
It would be pretty hilarious to imagine Statler and Waldorf turning up thinking that they're going to see the Muppet Show and getting ready to heckle, and then some big, amazing touring production. I thought you were going to say,
and some big girl stage. Walks out and starts singing Good Morning Baltimore. I want that chubby communist off my show. No, I got it wrong. Let me do it again. I want that chubby communist girl off my show. It's my favourite line. Woke up today feeling the same way I always do. Oh, don't know where we're going.
I was going to say, we know you did, Lewis. That was... But yeah. What did you both think of this week's backstage runner with Fozzie nervous to meet Milton and just, I suppose, just chickening out of... Well, I don't know. Was it mainly just that he knew he couldn't live up to him as a comedian? I think it was that, rather than worrying that Milton wasn't going to live up to the hype for him, I suppose.
I don't know, but it was absolutely adorable.
It was.
It was so cute. Fozzie was just the right amount of, he wasn't too sad sack. He was just nervous about meeting his comedy idol, I guess.
Yeah, it was really, really cute. When he started behind that big load of sequined material and the mask at the beginning, I really was like, who is going to be under there? And then when it was Fozzie, I was like, oh!
I know.
Fozzie's got lost in the costume department.
Gonzo actually got some stuff to do at the beginning of this runner.
He did.
Although it was very confusing to him say Uncle Milty before knowing that was a nickname that he used from... a line from his TV show. I was like, are they implying that Gonzo is related to Milton Berle?
I know, I thought the same as well. I was like, okay.
Uncle Milty.
I can't remember if it was in that section. I think it was. But when Gonzo's eyelids moved, did you both notice that?
Yes. They said, I think this was the first episode, I think I read it, where he had his like mobile eyelids and also his telescopic eyes that moved.
Yeah.
He looked a lot better.
He did, didn't he?
He got a brow lift.
I thought it was really cool when his eyelids went. It just gave him so much more expression than... And I mean, just his eyes being more alert and awake. They were so sad in the first season, weren't they? I think
they were.
They're so much more Gonzo now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice to see his eyelids go. I was like, ooh! I was like, okay... Again, we're getting there with Gonzo. Slowly. It was only tiny little bits this week, but we're getting there.
No, it was a good one. It was interesting in Kermit's introduction that they were referring to Milton's career as the golden age of television. Which is quite interesting because it's you know, particularly over the last, you know, I'd say decade or so, that's very much been a phrase that's bandied about for the age of TV that we're in right now. And it's just funny to think like people thought that of the 50s and 60s where they were watching the Texaco Star Theatre or, you know.
No, completely. I thought that too. Like I don't think it's quite like every generation thinks they have a golden age of television or anything, but I guess television's been around long enough now that it's had 2 golden ages, but for very different kinds of shows. I mean, I don't think Mad Men would have got on air in the 50s.
No, probably not. Well, I don't know, actually. I suppose it could, but it wouldn't be like, oh, look at us ironically looking at all of this terrible behaviour. It'd be like ringing endorsements.
Yeah. be like,
Peggy would remain a secretary all the way through.
well, yeah, exactly. But that's like exactly like so many of the shows of the gold, like what we now refer to as the golden age, of because they've got amazing, complex characters and storylines. And actually, that original golden age was by and large just because they made you laugh and, was very straightforward family entertainment.
Yeah. Well, as we all learned from being the Ricardos, making people laugh is an incredibly serious business. What a shocker of a film. Absolutely hated it. Just wanted to get that out there. Just wanted to get that on record that I hated being the Ricardo.
It's just, I don't know why you'd...
End of sentence. I just don't know why you'd.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Was there... I remember seeing like a made-for-TV movie one time. And I remember
Emma,
a bit
it
where
pretty much was a made-for-TV movie.
Oh.
This should have been basically a movie of the... It should have been like that shitty Audrey Hepburn biopic where Jennifer Love Hewitt plays Audrey Hepburn.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's so bad. Emma and I watched it and she's doing this terrible accent from God knows where she thinks Audrey Hepburn is from. She thinks she's from London. And then it's got what's-his-face from Will and Grace in it, playing... Is it Mel Ferrer?
Yeah.
I never know how to say his name.
Mel Ferrer?
Mel Ferrer. Oh, that's probably it. And like, oh god, I just remember them doing the filming of the beginning of Breakfast at Tiffany's, and then her falling off a horse, and it's just like,
and that's it.
That's it.
It was really bad.
Oh. I think the best like made-for-TV movie we've seen is that one that we saw that was the Judy Garland one that was based on Lorna Luft's autobiography.
Judy Davis as Judy Garland and also Tammy Blanchard as young Judy. She's uncanny. Tammy Blanchard as young Judy. It's kind of crazy. I think it's all on YouTube if people want to look it up. It's called Me and My Shadows. Life with Judy Garland. It's very good. That was far better than being the Ricardos. Famous natural comedian Nicole Kidman plays rubber-faced Lucille Ball.
It's very...
Babaloo! Anyway,
very
right, let's move on to
strange.
Milton's before I can entirely run out of energy getting angry about being the Ricardos.
I wanna start by talking about the light blue sparkly voile that he was standing in front of for his monologue. Where has that come from? Did he bring it with him?
I thought exactly the same, Jade. I was like, wait a minute, where are we? And then
Packed in the trunk of his car.
Yeah, then they had like the red curtains, didn't they?
He was like, I'm not dealing with those red curtains. They're not light Saturday night entertainment enough for me. I want the blue voile.
Yeah, I thought it was a nice choice though. Actually, if it was a directorial choice, it was nice to break it up a little from not just having him stand in front of a red curtain. It gave it a bit more of a, I don't know, energy. Energy? It didn't give it energy. What am I talking? It gave it something. It gave it some zazz.
It gave it some zazz. I think it did just make it feel like a Saturday night 70s TV show. Do you know, like it just, like if you'd have seen Tommy Cooper or someone walk out in front of that, or Brucey, you know, you would have felt
Yeah, I was just about to say Bruce.
completely like this is in this realm. Whereas, yeah, obviously normally when we've seen people do stuff in front of the red curtain, it does still feel very, oh, it's the Muppet Show and such is on the Muppet Show. What are you laughing at?
I burped and I could taste the vine leaves that I ate like 20 minutes ago. Oh, God,
I can't wait
I'm
to listen
falling
back
apart.
to this episode.
I guess just like I just burped. I was like, Damadis. I know. Who's editing this one? Is it you, Jade?
Yes, I can edit this one and try and
Pick out the treasures.
yeah, make you and the rest of us sound coherent.
Oh, it's fine. You can keep it in. It's fine. Maybe not all of it. You know, just the gems.
Just-
Pan for gold, Jade. Pan for gold.
Just the nuggets.
I really enjoyed this sketch. I thought it was better than any of the Waldorf and Statler Fozzie heckling material. It was really well written.
Yeah, there was a really good like patter between them all, and I just thought they played off one another really, really well.
And as much as we saw, as we were reading and saying about Milton Berle apparently being a terror, it's quite magnanimous of him to be so heckled. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't even necessarily win the argument. I was quite surprised by that.
So I think there might be a very good reason why this all happened, because I was thinking exactly the same thing, and then I spotted that Statler and Waldorf were actually inspired by a character who was called Sidney Spritzer, who was played by Irving Benson, who would heckle Milton Berle on his show in the 60s on an ABC series that he had.
Oh, Jade, good research.
So I think they were obviously playing on that, the fact that Statler and Waldorf were literally inspired by something from a Milton Berle show, and then they had Milton Berle. So
like him being heckled is a regular bit that he does.
Yeah,
anyway.
I think so. But also, like, I guess that specific style of patter, I guess if that's what they were basing Statler and Waldorf on, must be very him as well.
Yeah, they might even be... Actually, maybe that explains why the writing might have suddenly felt so good. Maybe they borrowed a bunch of jokes from previous... Like, the bit where it's like, you got a car? So it's really good.
It was brilliant. It was really, really strong. And I agree with you completely, which was that Statler and Waldorf had all of the punchlines, all of the jokes. He didn't seem fazed by that at all. He seemed genuinely, totally game to go along with it, to play that aging comedian on stage who is being heckled, and yeah, okay, it's all a bit knowing and whatever, but he actually played it very kind of straight, didn't he, really? Like it was only at the end that he started laughing a little bit, but again, that was quite nice to see that he didn't seem to be that upset about it at all. He was cracked up. He was like, yeah, look at these guys go. This is comedy gold.
Yeah, and
it was really, really good.
I also thought it was quite nice when Gonzo came on the end. He was like, help you out, like, I'll show you the exit. That was really funny.
And we got a little Gonzo nose pull.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we've seen. I can't recall having seen anybody do that yet.
No, I don't think so. No, it was really, really strong. It felt really good. And I admired technically they'd thought about how they could film it so that they could have him and Statler and Waldorf in shot, and having that shot from behind Milton looking up to the balcony.
They're up so high.
Really high.
Yeah, really high, really high.
Yeah.
Well, it is a box. I
know, but it's. I was still surprised by how high up it was.
Yeah, but again, I suppose it's building that world, and then also showing off a little bit that they're moving the tech and the cinematography and everything along, that they're able to do that, because I cannot imagine them doing something like that in the first season.
No,
like it just wouldn't be there, would it?
I thought as well, for like a first sort of guest sketch, it was really solid, because we've seen previous episodes where we've seen the sort of first thing that a guest is doing, and it's been pretty underwhelming, and I actually thought this was like a really solid, good, snappy piece.
I would even go far as to say it's the funniest written sketch for a guest that we've seen so far.
Possibly. I'm just thinking if there's other ones that have made me... I feel like some of the business, some of the talk spots, but maybe not as an actual like on stage...
I think
like,
the only thing I was kind of comparing it to was Bruce Forsyth, to be honest.
Yes, but I think this was better than that.
Well, one of the things that Bruce's end bit had that this didn't was Bruce was making quite a lot of topical references, wasn't he?
Yes.
There was that joke about, was it Starsky and Clutch?
Yeah, he called them Starsky and Crutch, didn't he?
Crutch, sorry, not Clutch. I was like, I don't think it's Clutch because that makes no sense. Crutch makes much more sense. But other than that, there wasn't a whole lot of that, was there? So I think that is another reason it probably still feels a bit stronger now, because it's not loaded with random 1970s references that no one knows.
Yeah. Sorry, I just got I got distracted because the sun has come through, and now I have this beautiful colour on my face.
You do have a beautiful glow.
It's fucking radiant. Like...
Emma still looks like Pebbles.
Jade's actually sunk fully to the floor.
And I'm just sat on the floor cross-legged.
My hungover self was very relieved to see my beautiful Muppet newsman. Wanted to gently place my hands onto his nose. Didn't think the joke was up to much, though.
It was very throwaway, wasn't it? This joke about Mary Clandle and her cat or son inheriting all of her earthly possessions, and her son's getting 10,000 rubber mice. Okay, fine.
Yeah, like... what?
Don't really understand how that made the news.
Also, why is he not briefed on what he's covering for the show?
He's in a hurry, it's breaking news!
Oh yeah, that's the whole point.
He's only just got handed those papers and he's just going to sit down and read it.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it was nice to see him, but quite forgettable in an episode that had much stronger stuff going on.
Yes, speaking of, we get our first ever appearance of Pigs in Space!
Yay!
Starring the very cute and extremely dangerous Miss Piggy. I loved that.
That was amazing. I loved that intro. And we have Link, Hogfrob, and Dr. Strangepork.
Dr. Julius Strangepork.
It's such a great name.
I know.
Amazing. I love this so much.
It's a gorgeous little set, and I love their little outfits.
So cute.
So cute.
I know. I literally wrote snazzy outfits.
Yeah.
Actually, hold on. Did I say that this aired on the 14th of October? I think I did. Yes, this aired on the 14th of October 1977. So you would have had half a month to turn one of those outfits into your Halloween outfit for 1977.
Do you know what was really weird, Jade? I was watching this and I was like, if we ever say this about a Halloween outfit again, I was like, I want a Pigs in Space outfit.
I'm going as Miss Piggy. No.
That's fine, Lewis. We can all go as Miss Piggy.
just three Miss Piggies in her Pigs in Space outfit.
They were really cool outfits. The set was amazing as well. Like, such a step up from the veterinarian's hospital set, I guess, is the closest we've had in that terms of it riffing on a TV genre.
The spaceship swine trek.
Yes, amazing.
Loved it.
Yeah, because it was kind of simultaneously parodying Star Trek and Lost in Space.
Yeah.
Which was an intro. I've never watched any Lost in Space. Apart from maybe like 25 minutes of a terrible movie they made in the 90s with Matt LeBlanc and Mimi Rogers.
Oh,
I think I might have seen some of that as well.
And I think, what's his name's in it? Gary Oldman.
what?
I think Gary Oldman
I think
is
he
in,
is, yeah.
playing Dr. Smith? No, Dr. Oh, what's his name? I think it is Dr. Smith. I could look it up. I won't. I just like the robot.
No, I don't think I've seen any of it ever, including that terrible sounding movie.
And I never watched any of the Netflix one, even though it had Parker Posey in it. I was like, I don't need this.
It's the golden age of television, Lewis. There's too
Golden
much
age of
choice.
television, baby.
Peak TV. Too many shows.
Peak TV. Get Parker Posey off of Lost in Space and get her into Yellow Jackets.
Oh my god, Parker Posey would be amazing in Yellow Jackets. I'd be so here for that.
Yeah. I clocked we got a Miss Piggy, oh brother.
Yes.
Like into her hands, which I always appreciate. I like that Piggy now feels she's kind of above this material.
Oh,
And
she is flying in this episode. She is absolutely far and away above absolutely everybody. To the extent that at the end of the first ever Pigs in Space, we get Piggy saying something along the lines of, I said that at the beginning of this dumb sketch, and getting annoyed.
Yeah, I wrote that as well. I was like, Piggy says dumb sketch.
I mean, that feels so Muppety to me. They're calling attention in a meta way, but it's also not done in an over the kind of intellectual way. It's just for yet another gag that Piggy's like, oh, I'm fed up with this. I'm a star, and this sketch is stupid. And I already told you that it was Gonzo on a motorbike, and you didn't listen to me.
yeah, and then we get another bit of Gonzo.
Yeah.
Which is lovely. And it was just Gonzo on a motorbike. It was like, and it was his headlamp in space.
It was funny. It was a good, just so random, but
yeah.
great ending. And then following on from that meta-ness, we had Link shutting his nose in the door and then Fozzie doing the same backstage and Kermit again calling it out, saying, no, that won't work. We've just done that. It's like, I don't know, the writing just feels like it's come on leaps and bounds, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what a fun little subversion where Fozzie shuts the door and then just lifts up a little panel of it.
Lifts the flap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
It was very cute.
So we go from this into, well, the first version of The Entertainer, which is Milton's version with Rolf on the piano. Rolf.
Oh.
The Entertainer, right?
Yeah, that's the name of the song.
You know, most people don't know that there are words to that song.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what they're about?
Mm.
They're about the stars and the performers and the entertainers that appeared during the heyday of vaudeville.
Hey, you used to be in vaudeville, didn't you?
Yeah, sure I was. Well, when I was a kid.
Yeah. How many performances did you do in vaudeville?
Oh, I'd say between 80,000 and 100,000.
Wow. You were really the entertainer, weren't you?
One of them, yeah, one of them. Many, many fond memories. Now the curtain is going up. The entertainer is taking a bow. He does his dance step and sings his song. Even gets the audience to sing along.
I quite like the patter at the beginning where Milton's like, did you know there's actually a song? It's not just a piece of music. And then he kind of does his Rex Harrison speaking. Sing talking. And then you got the little chorus of Muppets. But I thought it was a really, really sweet piece. It was nice. And although it was kind of funny seeing Fozzie in the crowd when he was like, I'm hiding from Milton.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I enjoyed it. What did you guys think?
I really liked it too.
I loved it. I mean, look, you know me. I love somebody gently plays a piano while somebody monologues about what it was like back in the day. It's very much in my wheelhouse. But just him talking about vaudeville and 80,000 or 100,000 shows and it's just I love the vibes. It's good vibes for me. I really liked it.
Yeah, I felt like it was very like that Muppety sentimentality, nostalgia that we've talked about before.
About showbiz.
Yeah, and there also seemed to be a real reverence for him as well, and a recognition, which they'd already done, but a recognition of his contribution to the business of show to continue.
To paraphrase Kenneth Branagh in an insufferable interview.
But I thought it was really, really sweet and lovely. And I think the reason that Fozzie was in the chorus, even though it didn't make any sense, with the backstage runner, all of those Muppets were performing Muppets. We had Lydia back again. We had a Borsellino brother in there. We had the little clown one, which I know we haven't seen before, but I think they were all obviously meant to be sort of like vaudeville type Muppets, weren't they? What are you laughing at now?
You saying that just made me look at my notes. They put the clown with the star eyes. Is this Euphoria? Like, we try to make a reference to me down with the kids. Cool eye makeup. Are you in Euphoria? Aren't drugs cool?
Are we going to have to put the Steve Buscemi meme on this one for you, Lewis?
I am the walking Steve Buscemi. I am. How do you do, fellow kids? I met a kid at the Madonna night yesterday who was dressed as American Life Madonna, who was 19 years old, and I was like,
oh my god,
like he was like 4 when her album came out.
Yeah.
Or wasn't even born. Wait, 2003?
No, probably not.
Oh god, like he was like, what? He was a baby. It's like
It was a baby.
I was like, being the young Madonna fan is my bit. Get out.
Not anymore.
No.
Knocking on the door of nearly 30.
I've got many more months until 30, thank you.
I don't know about many more. A few
We don't know
more.
when this episode is coming out. Oh,
yeah,
God.
no, I really liked this version of The Entertainer, and I've also noted down that obviously it is the second time that we've heard the entertainer on the Muppet Show, because Phyllis did her version of it with the
saxophone.
with the sax.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
I'd
they must
totally
love this
forgotten that.
song.
Well, they do, because then we get the third version of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we think this song is out of copyright? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yes, 100%.
But I never knew that. I never knew it had words, because obviously I've had. I was like, I never knew it had words.
Yeah, this version with Miss Piggy was excellent.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that it was the UK spot,
Me
though.
neither. So
Again,
sad.
another piece of really good material that they put as the UK spot.
Ralphie, would you play that song again for moi?
Sure.
Now the curtain is going up. The entertainer is taking her bow. Does her dance step and sings her song. Even gets all the audience to sing along. Yes, she knows just what she must do. Knows how to bring down the house when she's through. Snappy patter and jokes. She knows what pleases the folks. The entertainer, the star of the show. What's up there, Ralph?
I just loved it. I loved like Rolf's reactions to her when she started like practically twerking and like
Yes.
launched herself onto the piano as well.
There
It was
was
just
some
so funny.
puppeteering of Piggy. It was, I mean, so good.
It was absolutely amazing. The way that it built up, that she sort of started all sweetness and light. Could you kindly play it again? And then ramped up, was very much emphasizing the she and the her. And like, yes, I'm talking about myself. And then she couldn't contain it any longer. And she had to release the full
I know. She
diva.
went like full on Fosse. She went crazy.
And I loved Rolf's little interjections of like a born ham and bring home the pork. That's like nice.
I thought it was quite racy as well, like the way that she was like shaking her maracas, and like you said, Emma, she was basically twerking. And I don't know if Piggy today would be allowed to dance in quite that same manner. She'd go crazy, but not maybe as sexually as that. It seemed quite charged. But it was amazing, and I could not stop laughing. And then at the very end, when she started doing the chorus line kicks, I was just in hysterics.
Yeah, it was really, really fun. And so much so that I did not mind at all that we were just getting basically the song again in the same setup. Like, I didn't mind.
I think because it was such a different energy, wasn't it? Like, the other version, in a way, almost seemed, especially like the way that the lighting went quite dark at the end, and he was singing about taking his last bow and all of that. Like, that almost seemed very much sort of like a thank you.
That was kind of like like a memorial version.
Exactly. Whereas Piggy's was like, no, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here now.
It was great. Can one of you tell me why in my notes underneath the third backstage gag I've written, small boy I've never seen before?
Oh, I don't know.
No, I don't have that either.
This is the one with Fozzie in the somewhat anti-Semitic beard and nose.
Does somebody say small boy? Maybe Fozzie says it to Scooter.
Oh,
Maybe
he
says
might
small
say
boy
he
on
might
this.
say that to Scooter. Yeah, because he's pretending to be someone else, isn't he?
Okay, cool,
Yes.
great. I didn't know if I'd had like a small aneurysm.
No,
when I
that
read
makes sense. I think he does say that.
Yes, Jade also thought there was a slight kind of Hasidic Jew
Yeah.
sort of vibe to the outfit.
It definitely had like stereotypical
Yes.
Jewish vibes to it, didn't it? The get up. Yeah, it was. I was glad that it was. He wasn't wearing it for long. That it sort of came and went very quickly, and that there were no additional jokes about what he looked like, because I was like, where are we going with this?
Yeah, I was the same. I was literally like,
oh, please no. Yeah. But luckily we got off it very quickly and went to Zelda Rose and her singing owl.
oh my god, I loved that owl so much. It would be like me if I was doing a song.
Wait, are you the owl or are you Zelda Rose?
I'm the owl. You're Zelda
Oh,
Rose.
for God's sake, Emma.
Ooh. Pull my heart away. Ooh. Makes me dream all day. Dreams I know can never be true. Seems as though I'll never be blue. Ooh. Means my happiness. Ooh. Would I answer yes to? Well, you ought to guess. Ooh.
Zelda Rose in this gave me real Lady Button vibes from Ghosts, Fanny. Like, I could literally see, like...
You're talking to the wrong people. I don't think either of us watched
Neither of you
Ghosts.
watch Ghosts. Oh my god, Ghosts is so good. It's so funny.
I watched a couple of episodes on a plane, and I was like, okay. No one.
Maybe it wasn't the right, like, environ, because it's a...
I mean, I don't know what you mean, Jade. I watched Hello, My Name is Doris on a plane and cried 3 times.
Yeah, but that's different.
Oh, that's so sad, that film.
I know. I watched it on Netflix a week ago and I was still like, why am I watching this? It makes me so upset.
I saw it because it was like recommended for you, and I was like, I just can't watch it.
You don't know me at all, algorithm.
No, to me, Ghosts is like a warm hug of a show, which I don't necessarily know is the kind of thing that I want to watch on a plane, or also in the sort of stark environment of a plane, if it's going to have the same impact, is all I meant.
Mm. And also, I'm just going to say, Jay, because I know you mentioned it in last week's episode, but this is the second episode where we've actually got someone auditioning, haven't we?
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was Abby Hadfield's audition, and she did Zelda, so she puppeted Zelda and then also did the voice, which is also another reason I think I probably get Lady Button vibes from it, because I'm guessing Abby Hadfield was a very proper English lady who enunciated correctly
And went into puppets.
Well, she didn't. But in this, she did Zelda Rose. She also did the green frackle in the Ugly Song number. She was Lydia and a female whatnot in The Entertainer. I had a quick look on Muppet Wiki about her. Thank you, Muppet Wiki. And it said that her background was actually in Gilbert and Sullivan. And apparently she had like guest roles on things like Corrie later. So I don't think she ever did go fully into puppetry or anything, but she was a long-time performer.
A jobbing actress.
Yes.
We've all been known to pick up a puppet when when times are hard.
But I thought she did a cracking job of Zelda Rose.
The song, I enjoy the song too. Is it just called Who?
Yeah.
So there's Judy Garland does a number to this in one of those kind of Follies musicals where they just have basically all of their stars on their roster just do like 1 or 2 songs. It's really gorgeous. People should look it up. She wears this lovely like yellow gown and there's just like a bunch of men dancing around her. It's really nice.
Well, it's from Sunny, the musical, and I think the reason that when Judy Garland did it, it was because it was in the musical that was on Hammerstein's work and career, and so she, because this is a Harbach and Hammerstein song, so I think
Hammerstein.
Yeah, I think that's what that comes from.
But people should look it up. Judy looks gorgeous in it. It's very good.
And then we get the last bit of backstage business, which starts with Fozzie hiding under the desk, which really made me laugh, the way that he popped up from behind the desk and seemed to be looking over his shoulder every which way to make sure that Milton wasn't creeping up on him.
Yeah.
And then I loved that he then, when Milton was coming, decided to hide behind the randomly but very conveniently placed basket.
The wicker trunk.
Yes. But it was interesting and clever staging that Fozzie was on this side of the trunk, so therefore downstage to the camera.
Nice.
Thanks. Just making sure it's the right way around. I thought this was cute, and another one of those bits of backstage business that runs into the final number in the same way that, say, Ethel Merman's did.
Yeah.
It's that harking back to the love of the business wiggle show. Like them starting the song around that trunk is very I can't believe I keep managing to bring her up, but the Judy Garland show where she always does her number where she's like propped up on a trunk. And then even just the phrase baggy pants comic, I really enjoy because it just so immediately, you know exactly what it means and what it's evoking and that kind of vaudevillian, old-timey comedian.
Come on, Fozzie. Follow me, huh? Come on. If you want to be the top banana, you gotta start from the bottom of the bun.
You gotta know the joke about the farmer's daughter.
Then take it in the kisser with the soda water.
If you wanna be a burlesque comic,
It's basic training for you to take a punch. You gotta roll your eyes and make a funny face and do a take and holler.
this must be the place.
If you want to be the top banana, you gotta start from the bottom up.
I mean, even the song and the business, I really enjoyed it. Because even the gags that weren't too strong, they were kind of groaners anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was part of the bit.
Definitely. I mean, I thought there was something a little bit odd in some of the pacing of the gags, if I'm perfectly honest. There were times, obviously, that neither of them were on screen, and you had a few dead seconds, which I just thought, watching it now, was a little bit peculiar because you never have that now.
No.
They'd edit it so that it was at least one person on screen all the time, and that there was that sort of constant dynamism and movement. But actually, like you said, the gags were all fine. At the worst they were fine, and at the best there was some amusing stuff in there, and they just had such great interaction, didn't they? Fozzie was just on top form as Fozzie, and Milton was really playing to him. Like, they did feel like a comedy act.
He was also playing out a few times,
Yes.
and I was trying to wonder, again, now knowing that Milton Berle is a dick, whether he was actually getting a reaction from the camera crew, or he was doing pretend playing out. I'd love the idea that he's doing this, like, oh, you'll like this one, and there's just like some disinterested crew member just like standing there in a headset, just like
Just reading the paper.
yeah, just well and truly done with this week with Milton Berle.
What did you think, Emma?
I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed like Fozzie and Milton's interactions and the gags, and obviously when they used the props as well, like when he had the hanger and he was like, I lost the suit. I mean, that was pretty great.
Do you know, I did laugh. I was like, damn it, he got me.
Yeah, and I like the bit where like Fozzie took off his hat and his little ears like wiggled as well. That was quite cute.
Yeah, I thought Fozzie's ears weren't going to wiggle anymore. I was like, oh, they still wiggle.
They
Yay.
can still do that.
Yeah.
One gag I didn't understand, and I wonder whether you guys can work it out. His first gag when he says he's taking that box to court.
The case.
The case.
He's taking the case
He's
to
taking
court.
the case to court.
Oh, would we call that a case?
I don't know, but that's what
It
he
looked
said.
more like it didn't look
Crate.
anyway. Okay, fine.
There's also something a bit interesting about this song, Top Banana. So it comes from the musical Top Banana.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, no, seriously. Which starred Phil Silvers, who was another very well-known comedian in the 50s and 60s. And the show Top Banana, and as it was written for Phil Silvers, was based on the character of Milton Berle. So there's again something quite meta going on here, where basically Milton Berle is dressing up that costume that he puts on, as well as it harkening back to traditional vaudeville. It also is very much how Phil Silvers' character was in Top Banana, and that character is based on Milton Berle.
Oh wow! So maybe that's why in like all of his bits he's giving it 100% because
Yeah.
he's like, "This is my
It's all about
material.
me."
Look at me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not dialing it in.
I just thought that was like, again, I suppose audiences of the time would probably have recognised that far more than we all did. But like the sort of influence and the layers and also the amount of stuff that's come out of his work is quite extraordinary, really.
Yeah.
But then I suppose in a way though, it's a bit, because obviously we've not really seen anything of him, so we didn't know the context. We didn't realise he was essentially just doing his bits. That us now, when we see certain people and we see them on different TV shows, they essentially just play the same person, or they are kind of recycling the same bits.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd be curious to know how much this is just him versus how much this is him doing a impression of someone else doing an impression of him.
Blah. That's like Inception. Blam. Just layers on layers. We're in the Milton Berle universe.
We're in the Milton Berle onion.
The Miltiverse. Oh my god, the Miltiverse! Oh my god, I'm a genius. The Uncle Miltiverse.
Uncle Miltiverse.
All right. If there's nothing else to be said, I think I'm falling. The night is fading fast. I think we should just, before I collapse onto this microphone. Are there any more closing thoughts before we get to ranking?
No, I think you're going to have to get your stamina up, because this has only been 1 hour and 7 minutes, and we've not even talked that much about the actual Muppet Show. So
we've probably talked more about a little princess.
Judy.
Yeah.
Well, at least it'll be a nice little tangent episode.
Yeah, like, we're nothing if not consistent in our ability to talk about anything other than the Muppets on our Muppet podcast. God, I can't talk Muppet podcast. All right, Emma, any more closing thoughts, or I'm gonna get to any other business.
AOB.
Fine, let's move on. All right. Before we get to our rankings, we must do our MVMP, our most valued Muppet performer for the episode. Emma, why don't you kick us off and tell us why you like Fozzie so much this week?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do love Fozzie, but actually, I think my MVMP this week is going to be Miss Piggy.
Woo!
Purely because of her amazing entrance in Pigs in Space. Fantastic, number one. Number two, her version of The Entertainer was just phenomenal. I loved it so much. She was great. And also her interactions with Rolf. I mean, you know. So, yeah, I think for this episode, Miss Piggy is my MVMP. How about you, Jade?
I'm going Piggy too.
Yeah!
I just couldn't get over how great she was in The Entertainer. And
so good.
When I found out that was the UK spot, I was like, I have to give it to her, because the thought that everyone in America did not originally see this is quite frankly heartbreaking. And I know it's now on Disney Plus, so everyone can watch it anyway, but she needs some kudos for that. It was absolutely amazing, and it was so lovely to see Pigs in Space for the first time as well. When we've spoken about the MVMP before, it's this idea that a Muppet can come on, not actually have that much of a starring role in the whole episode, but still steals the show. And that was totally Piggy for me this week. So, yes, Miss Piggy, which I think means I've given it to a Frank Oz character for the first 3 episodes of this season. So we'll see whether that continues. I will try to give it to somebody else next week. But Piggy. How about you, Lewis? Are you going Fozzie then?
Well, I just to give it a bit of variety, I'm going to go for Fozzie, just because I think it's because when we compare Fozzie to, you know, how he was in season 1, this could have very easily have fallen back into sad sack Fozzie, but it wasn't. It was adorable. It was cute. It was funny. They've really hit their stride with Fozzie's characterization now since season 1, and I think I thought he was cute as a button. So that's why I'm picking him as my MVMP. All right, let's do these rankings. Papa needs to go have a nap. All right, let's keep it tight. Let's keep our thoughts minimal.
Keep our thoughts minimal
on this podcast. Oh god. Oh no. Now I'm laughing too much and I need to pee. Right, Jade, quick, do your ranking before I piss myself.
Okay, so this is clearly a considerably better episode than the first 2 of this season. You know, we've touched on them. I don't know if we went into too much detail about the writing and everything, but no, I'm joking. It's so much of a stronger episode than the first 2. But having said that, I'm not 100% sure it's as good for me as some of the episodes that I absolutely adored from that first season, like, for instance, the Ethel Merman or the Bruce Forsyth. So I'm going to go for 6.5 Desert Springs, Vermont Humane Societies. which was Elder Rose had been performing recently.
Yeah, I was going to write that down as well, and then literally I was like, "That's too many words."
There's too many words. Yeah, I think it's clearly a big step up. Like I was just talking about Piggy, the UK spot and Pigs in Space was so great. Milton's entertainer was fantastic. The opening bit with him and Statler and Waldorf was really great. And I enjoyed most of Top Banana. Had some issues with the pacing, like I mentioned a minute ago. The Ugly song for me didn't quite cut it, just because I felt like there was no finesse to the staging and it wasn't really thought through. Similarly, I think there were some sort of throwaway bits like the Muppet Newsflash, which I know they can do that better. So I still feel like there's room for improvement. They've got such a solid foundation now from this episode, but it's tightening up the bits for the songs and the sketches and everything as well. So yeah, 6.5 Desert Springs, Vermont Humane Societies. Emma, what's your rating for this week?
Well, my rating for this week is the same as you, actually. 6.5 swine treks out of 10.
Nice.
I thought it was quite a solid episode overall. It had like quite a good snappy pace to it, and I thought it was quite fun. I thought Milton was a really good guest. It was lovely to kind of see Fozzie in his element, and like I said earlier, my MVMP Miss Piggy and her, amazing turns in Pigs in Space and when she did her entertainer. And I just thought it had a really nice flow to it, this episode. And I think there wasn't any kind of big dips in anything that we saw like we've seen previously in some of the episodes. And I thought it was sort of fairly strong throughout. So yeah, that's why I decided to give it 6.5 swine treks out of 10. How about you, Lou?
So I'm going to go slightly higher than you're both. I'm going to go 7 enormous Milton Berle penises out of 10.
Do you know, I was just thinking we've managed to get to the end of the episode without mentioning that again. I should have known.
We should have known, Jade. We should have known.
If there's one thing I can do, Jade, it's always bring Dick into the conversation. This episode really vibed with me. I really enjoyed Milton as a guest. I thought the writing was so strong in his guest segments. Piggy was fantastic. We got the start of Pigs in Space. The runner wasn't annoying and led into the final song, which gives a nice narrative to the whole episode. And even though, the ugly is beautiful or whatever it was called was a bit meh, everything else I really liked. And, I gave Zelda Rose my MVMP last week from an appearance in the crowd, and then she suddenly gets to pop up and it's on stage. So, it's a win-win for me. So, yeah, I'm going for 7 Milton Berle penises out of 10. Can't wait to write that in the Excel spreadsheet.
I'm glad it's your Excel spreadsheet.
I know. Gonna need another bigger spreadsheet. Oh, right, Jade, book club corner, come on.
So I wasn't 100% sure what to go for this week, but
something brief.
It's quite brief. It's relatively brief.
Okay.
But as me and Emma have both said, we both love Piggy this week, and I thought, off the back of her performance this week, we'd all be talking about how great Piggy was. So I've picked a little segment that's
and instead we talked about Judy Garland for 10 minutes.
And my fear of a little princess.
So I've picked a segment that's talking about Frank Oz and his work with Piggy and his, I guess, sort of his relationship with the character a little bit as well. So this is from Of Muppets and Men by Christopher Finch. Miss Piggy is a whole stew of emotions and insecurities which have rendered her sensitive to every imagined slight. The difficulties that Frank Oz experiences working with Piggy are easy to imagine, since it is Piggy herself who possessed the drive that brought about her stardom, and it is the audience that has defined the terms of that stardom. Oz must struggle to make her live within those parameters while, at the same time, retaining control of her, if one can, in fact, remain in control of a character who must be, constantly on the verge of losing control. Oz has to believe in her and her stardom so that she can believe in herself, yet he must remain objective, must keep in mind all her flaws and weaknesses so she can remain vulnerable. With her, he is constantly walking a tightrope. The biggest danger, one that would be all too easy to fall into, is the temptation to make Piggy a camp figure. Fortunately, Oz's innate intensity and seriousness tend to counteract this.
That's quite interesting, because on the one hand, Piggy is camp, but sometimes it's more just camp in look and visual. I'm usually just thinking of like 1980s Miss Piggy when she has like the really like curly hair.
Yeah.
Rather than actually in action. That's quite interesting. I've never really thought about that.
I think she, in terms of her action and her sensibility, is not necessarily that camp, but her outfits and also just the ways that she can be portrayed can be quite camp. Like her musical numbers can be quite camp, and her costumes and everything. But actually her, as a character, she's not sort of innately camp, I guess. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting idea, and I think it is also interesting that this idea of her having her weaknesses and vulnerabilities, because actually she doesn't want to be seen for those. She only wants to be seen for her superstardom. But in a way, what makes her a superstar is actually her foibles.
Her vulnerability.
Yeah.
Just like Judy. Smells like mama. And on that note, thank you so much for listening to Judy-sational. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review, as it really helps spread the word about the podcast. You can follow us on social media. We are at Judy-sational on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook.
Muppetsational, everyone.
And you can contact us at clang with the trolley at judyspodcast.com. And you can find out more about us and the podcast at judygarland.com. Right, I'm done. That's it. Thanks so much for listening. I love you lots. I've been Lewis Chandler.
As Lewis said, that's it, I'm done. The sun must have dropped in London because you
look at that. That's so
suddenly
weird.
got into darkness.
That's so bizarre. And it's like I'm a canary in a cage. It's like, it's nighttime now.
And
no, just hits the microphone and I'm done. I'm down.
Please visit us at muppetspodcast.com. And
They know what it is. They listen to it every week. We're called Muppetsational, alright? Just Google it. We need to go. I need to go to the bathroom. And hurry up.
Emma, we're just waiting for you to say bye.
Me?
Yes!
Oh, sorry. And
finish this.
I think I didn't hear you guys say sorry.
Emma, there's still more words that aren't bye.
And it's bye
right,
from
cut it
me,
in later.
Emma
I don't
Chandler.
care.
Like Emma's saying the longest goodbye she's ever said ever.
Like the fucking Von Trapp kids. Just like, why are there so many children singing goodnight? Why can't we just have our cocktail? Right, Emma, say bye.
She did.
Oh, right. Bye, everyone.
Auf Wiedersehen.
So long.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, God.
I'm going to press stop now.
Yeah, let's press stop.
Our theme music is Peppy Pepe by Kevin MacLeod, and our artwork is designed by Charlotte Rudge, who you can follow at Charlie_R_Rudge on Instagram.
That was a funny show.
Yes, it was. I wonder if they meant it that way.
My hands smell like vodka.